And good morning. It's 8:07 on News Talk 107.9. Welcome to the Neil Larson Show. It's good to have you along. So the governor has, in a rare move, enacted his line item veto. And Article 6, Section 11 of the Idaho Constitution allows the governor to do that. He can go in and say, well, I'm going to sign the bill except for this part, which I'm vetoing. And Governor Little had never used his line item veto power until just this week. He struck a line out of House Bill 482, which included several miscellaneous appropriations. But the line the governor took out was regarding his own emergency fund. There is hereby appropriated, and the office of the state controller shall transfer the remaining balance in the governor's emergency fund to the general fund as soon as practicable for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. According to House Bill 482's fiscal note, the transfer was meant to centralize the state's emergency funds in the Office of Emergency Management in the Military Division. And the governor issued a press release, and he said, as leaders, we need the tools to be agile in responding to crises that affect our citizens. I line item vetoed this budget bill because eliminating the governor's emergency fund only hinders our ability to respond quickly in a fast-moving situation. I share the legislature's vigor for ensuring government is efficient, but citizens expect government to be responsive in times of crisis. So the governor has done that, and signed the remainder of House Bill 482, along with almost every other bill left on the desk. And by the way, this is Brian Allman from Gem State Chronicle. He said, according to the daily tracking sheet, every bill except House Bill 109 has been signed, including the measure legalizing over-the-counter ivermectin, legal now. And hopefully soon we'll be able to go buy our horse paste in the pharmacy section at your local, they don't have dime stores anymore, but you know. H109 would prohibit the use of SNAP benefits for soda and candy. That's the one he hasn't signed yet. During an X space last week, Mike Moyle revealed that Governor Little had originally planned to sign House Bill 93. That's the parental choice tax credit, at a ceremony with President Trump in Washington. I wish I had known this yesterday because I would have asked Representative Horman about that. However, the president's schedule changed. He was unable to attend. Could the governor be holding off on signing H109 for a joint appearance with Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy? Just a thought. I don't know. But I will say this. The governor has... I'll be honest, and I like Governor Little. What I'm about to say, they may not find all that flattering. We've had a different governor this session. And we have, all right, I don't care who I offend, but we have had a different governor, and he has, House Bill 93 is a good example, because I thought, okay, he might sign it, he might veto it, he might do nothing. And I don't say that because those are his constitutionally allowed options. I say that because I really didn't know what we were going to get. And I thought if he signs it, it will be with some reluctance, that we'll get a signing statement along with it, and it'll be a little bit of a Karen finger saying, I reluctantly signed this, but we recognize the need for parental choice, blah, blah, blah. No, he signed it, full-throated support, dovetailed it with his launch program, and I don't think anybody expected that level of enthusiasm coming from the governor on parental choice in education. And quite frankly, it makes me wonder if those who put their eggs in the opposing parental choice basket felt like they got thrown under the bus. I don't know if they did or not. I don't have any inside information, but I'm wondering if they felt like they didn't expect that from the governor. They may recognize, well, the governor might reluctantly need to sign this thing, but no, it was full-throated support. Now, I think Occam's razor here, the simplest explanation for the governor enthusiastically signing these conservative bills being carried by even the more libertarian wing of the legislature, is that he's running again. And look, I will say it. It's a little cynical, but the middle and the left, who else are they going to vote for? We have not seen a viable Democrat gubernatorial candidate in over 30 years in Idaho. It's been a very, very long time since we went into September and October wondering about the governor's race. Okay, now that's not so. Yes, it is a commentary on the Democrat Party in Idaho, but it's really the broader issue of how big a mismatch the Democrats are with the people of Idaho, which speaks, by the way, to so many issues. I have been not alone in my disappointment at large with the general performance of East Idaho's Republican lawmakers. I like most of them on an individual level. I think they're nice people. However, I don't believe that they are representing their constituencies. And I will say that openly. I don't believe they are. And we operate in an environment where we think we have two choices. And again, I don't mean anybody in particular. Okay, this is a generic observation that we have to choose between either rhinos, lawmakers that I don't know if they vote all the time or most of the time, but often enough that it makes you wonder, they vote with the Democrats, or we get IFF libertarian nut jobs. Okay, and I think there's a middle way here where you get good, solid conservatives that give us a good, steady drumbeat of conservative legislation. But they are beholden to nobody but their constituents and the conservative philosophy that they share with their constituents. That's who they're loyal to. Not some outside group, not some political pack, not some union, not nothing. They have a very good and direct and unpolluted relationship with their constituents. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we have that with a number of our Republican lawmakers. Again, let me say, I think many of them are good people, nice people, likable people, but I think they're compromised and things get in the way between that intimate relationship that you have with your constituents. So, having said that, the winds have changed in Idaho, and I am incredibly grateful for the lawmakers around the state elsewhere that picked up the slack. And we got legislation passed with very little help from most of East Idaho's lawmakers that yet represented East Idaho's constituents. And I think the governor noticed the change in the legislature, that it is not a winning strategy for him to take the sort of that moderate middle approach that he's very well known for. There's also the concern that he may have a primary against Raul Labrador or another conservative, and he's got to shore up that support. I think he also took a political beating with last year's water fiasco. So it's complicated, and it's a landscape that it's probably not all one thing, but you do have that. There's a lot of Trump stuff that we could visit today, and the president of El Salvador was in the White House yesterday, and here's a clip. This is President Bukele, and they're talking about Trump's effectiveness on the border.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, 95%? It's incredible.
As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out, because I think they hate our country, actually.
this is very,
But it's a shame. You're right. Isn't that a great question? Why doesn't the media? Why don't they put out numbers?
yeah, 99%. I mean, it's crazy, right?
We're doing
It's
great.
a crazy time.
Okay, so President Bukele said 95%, and Trump very gently corrected him and said, no, it's 99%, 99.1. That was the latest numbers coming out. That's how much the border crossings have been reduced. And the follow-up, which is a very obvious, understandable follow-up, is why isn't this being reported in the media? That is more than newsworthy. And Trump says, welcome to America's fake news. And Caitlin Collins is standing feet away from the president when he names CNN specifically as a fake news and then says, because they hate America, which was a great moment, quite frankly, to the point where later on during CNN's coverage, Dana Bash is on and she feels compelled to correct the record. Listen to this.
Like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They don't like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually.
Before I get to you, I just want to say, for the record, since we heard President Trump say in the Oval Office that CNN hates our country, CNN does not hate our country. That should go without saying. I've been here for 32 years, and I see a rhetorical device in him trying to say such a thing.
Okay, when you are a media outlet and you have to convince your viewers that you don't hate America, that should tell you a few things, that there is a question about it. We'll talk about that more coming up. It's 8:20. It's good to have you along on this Tuesday morning, and we'll open up the phone lines a little bit later. And would love to hear from you via text, 208-542-1079. That is the Stones Automotive Group call and text line. We'll be back. All right, it's 8:24 on News Talk 1079.
Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market, too.
Hey, I am still trying to figure out what in the world that was.
She sounds as bad as I do on trying to do accents in different languages. And you know what?
Yeah.
Don't do it if you don't sound good at it.
Okay, but here's the difference, Julie. And I appreciate that you acknowledge that you're not great at it, but I usually know what you're trying to do.
There's at least an understood intention.
Yeah, right. Like, if somebody's trying to sing a song, but they're completely off key, typically you can figure out what song they're trying to sing. This, I don't even know what that accent is.
I don't know what she was doing either.
This was her in Nampa with Bernie. Should I play the whole clip here?
Yeah, do it.
All right, here it is.
Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud.
Did she say guilty?
Yeah, I don't know what she's trying to put some sort of...
Guilty. 34 counts.
34 counts of fraud.
Okay, I'm looking for reasons to explain this in a way that's deferential to her.
Okay.
There may be a chance sometimes if the sound system is set up in a particular way, you talk and then half a second later you hear yourself back. Mm-hmm. And if that's loud enough, it throws off your ability to be able to keep talking. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if maybe she was getting that back at her and she was hearing it and it was throwing off her ability to continue with her words. It sounded like, and there usually is sort of a muddy slowdown of your ability to talk because it just slows everything down. Mm-hmm. That might be part of what's happening here.
That's sweet of you to do that for her. I don't think that's it at all.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking. I'm trying to find grace.
I appreciate it.
Find some grace for her because I don't know what she's doing if that's not the answer.
I wondered if, because it's a known thing out there that Idahoans have an accent. We don't think we do, but we do.
Yeah.
We have some things that we do with the language that are a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if somebody tried to tell her there was an Idahoan accent and she thinks she's doing it, but she's not doing it?
Oh, maybe. That talk like Idahoans.
Yeah.
I guess that is a possibility.
I don't, she's way off because I can tell you with my podcast, I can tell you that there's plenty of people who have commented on the way that I say words that aren't from here.
Yeah.
And so there clearly is an Idaho accent. I don't know if she's trying to do it, but she's way off if she is, because it's not the words that I get comments about.
That's an interesting observation here. It's her attempt at an Idaho accent. Yeah, I don't know.
Liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too. When he talks about rapists and criminals, he should look in the mirror.
Okay, she said that like she's in 7th grade. Like she should look in the mirror.
Yeah. All that feigned I'm so indignant. Ah!
Yeah, I wonder how many times she's given that speech.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. 208-542-1071. I'd love to hear from somebody who went, but I doubt there's really many people in our audience who actually went over to see Bernie and AOC.
Yeah. I was scrolling Facebook. I saw somebody had posted something. I didn't know the person. Maybe I should have, but they had posted and Bernie came up and gave them a handshake. They were against a metal stanchion, and Bernie walked up and gave them a handshake. So Bernie was working the crowd.
So you're friends with this person?
Facebook now, you never know if you're friends or not. They populate things trying to get people worked
true.
up.
Well, I was just going to ask you if you unfriended them like we should have after. Not really. Okay, just calm down, people. It's Neal being theatrical.
Mm-hmm. Do they not have jobs back in D.C.? How come they be in Idaho on a Monday night?
I don't know. It's a good question because Congress is in session right now.
I believe they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Did they just fly out for this and then they flew back last? Like, I don't know.
How's their carbon footprint?
Oh, theirs doesn't matter, Julie.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the little people like you and me.
Right.
You can't count that. They're better than
when there's importance on the line, I can make as big a footprint as I need to.
Well, do you remember back when John Kerry was pressed about that? And like he literally said, I'm so important and the work that I'm doing is so important. It doesn't matter how big my carbon footprint is. He said that.
John Kerry.
He said that like AOC.
Two.
I have to find that clip if I still have it because I remember that. I'm like, what?
How dare you? It's always rules for us and not for you. That's the rules.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I think I have it here. Should we play it?
Yeah.
Good old John Kerry. He said, hold on.
If you offset your carbon, it's the only choice for somebody like me who is traveling the world to win this battle. I negotiated the Paris Accords for the United States. I've been involved in this fight for years. I negotiated with President Xi to bring President Xi to the table so we could get Paris. And I believe the time it takes me to get somewhere, I can't sail across the ocean. I have to fly to meet with people and get things done. But what I'm doing almost full time is working to win the battle of climate change. And in the end, if I offset and contribute my life to do this, I'm not going to be put on the defensive.
Okay.
I'm that important, you guys.
Yes, I am. And then there's this. I have to play this.
I just don't agree with your facts, which began with the presentation of one of the most outrageously persistent lies that I hear, which is this private jet. We don't own a private jet. I don't own a private jet. I personally have never owned a private jet. And obviously, it's pretty stupid to talk about coming in a private jet from the State Department up here. It just, honestly, if that's where you want to go there.
Didn't he just say he flies in private jets all the I have to fly in private jets because what I do is so important to the world, to the globe. I'm the savior of the world.
Except when you challenge me on the private jet, I'm going to settle it and say I don't have a private jet.
I don't do it. Yeah.
We didn't ask if you have a private jet. We asked if you flew in a private jet.
Yeah, that's a non-answer. Mm-hmm. Hoping we're stupid.
Yeah.
Which he's right about half the population. Not really.
Speaking of private jets,
yes.
This is total tangent. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
The Masters was over the weekend.
Okay.
I saw a graphic yesterday.
Yeah.
That immediately following the Masters, 250 plus, it was like 257 or something like that, private jets left Augusta. There were that many private jets with people who flew in to watch the Masters.
250?
Plus, yeah. 257, I think, was the total number.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were a billionaire, would you have a private jet?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I don't blame them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been on a private jet 2 or 3 times, and it's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to fly a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones. 208-542-1079. Hi, caller. How are you today?
Good. Just a couple of little quick comments. Isn't it great not having to listen to John Kerry anymore?
It's so great.
Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and all those types. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Well, thank you for the call. You know, I actually had that thought playing John Kerry. I'm like, I'm glad I had to dig into the archive kind of deep to find a John Kerry clip.
Yeah, that he's become so not relevant.
Yeah, in fact, if Trump didn't do anything, if Trump had no accomplishments whatsoever, it's still a productive presidency because we don't have to listen to John Kerry anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm sure we're already seeing a little bit of division inside the Trump orbit. Mm-hmm. Like Elon Musk, I think he rubs people the wrong way. I think there are people who, it's not that they have a philosophical disagreement with Elon Musk. It's just that his bedside manner could use a little work. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. We didn't hire him for his bedside manner. We hired him for his outcome. So we're seeing a little bit of that. But these are people that are serious people that seem to be delivering on a whole host of promises.
I would agree.
And they're not going to be around very long if they don't. Mm-hmm. All right, next call. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. A quick question on immigration. We hear a lot about the number of people that they're picking up and involuntarily deporting back to wherever. Do you have any figures on the number of illegals who are voluntarily leaving the country so they can come back legally? I
have not seen any of I haven't looked specifically for that, so we might be able to find it, but I haven't heard anything reported so far.
That's probably a pretty hard number to track, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
I think that's probably why it's not readily out there and being pushed as much as it's very easy for the Trump administration to say, hey, border crossings are down to this. And you played that clip during your monologue about how far down border crossings are. But for people who just self-deport, that's probably a little more difficult, especially if they don't use the app to do it.
Well, I think it would be interesting to find out, to see if the fear factor has entered the lives of some of these people saying, you know something, if I leave voluntarily and legally, hopefully I can come back. It might take me 10 or 15 years to do it. But, if you should happen to see something, I think it would be interesting. And thank you for your program.
All right. Thank you. A really quick cursory search here. I'm not finding anything popping up yet. So
yeah.
It's early. So
yeah, it is early. And I will say this. If not very many people are using the app, if it's not a really celebratory number, the administration is not going to publicize that.
Yeah.
Even if there is some people using the app to leave, to self-deport, if it's not this really amazing number, I don't think they're going to put it out there because it will be used against them.
Yes. Okay, so here's an NBC headline. Just take that into account. Trump admin pushing immigrants to self-deport as its deportation numbers lag. Figures obtained by NBC News showed deportations by ICE in March below where they were a year ago and far below what the administration wants. Trump administration officials, because judges are standing in the way of all this stuff.
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
That's a crap headline.
Well, it's a crap take.
Yes, it is.
If they could deport without every Democrat judge filing something, they would probably be doing this. But they're having to do more than dot their I's and cross their T's.
Well, and you know what? Buried in paragraph 3 is also this. A major factor in the deportation numbers being lower than they were during the Biden administration is the drastic drop in border crossings since Trump took office. Mm-hmm. There's fewer people to immediately deport because they're not making the crossing in the first place.
Yeah, they're not
That's
deporting
not
people.
In your headline.
Yeah, they're not deporting people that are at the border.
Yeah.
They're deporting people that have already established connections here in America because they were given debit cards and cell phones and they had that capability, and then they went to commit crimes. That's the other thing. I'm not really that concerned about the speed at which they're doing it and the volume at which they're doing it. I'm concerned about them getting rid of the criminals first.
Yeah, me too. Make the country safer.
Yes.
That is the highest priority right now. It says last month, which is the latest month for which data is publicly available, Customs and Border Protection had just over 11,000 encounters with undocumented migrants at the southern border, compared with nearly 190,000 in March 2024. It is easier and faster for the government to deport people detained near the border than to find them after they disperse across the United States. No kidding, Sherlock.
Yeah. I mean, look at we had a criminal here in East Idaho, and we had to do a sympathy tour about how sad that was that criminal had to leave.
Yes.
That's what we're battling. And it's even Republicans because the sympathy tour was done by a Republican.
Yes. Yeah, right.
So, of course, the number is going to be down when you're grabbing people from the interior of the United States, and we're specifically looking for criminals. It's a more refined, targeted search for those who need to be sent away.
Right here it says there's an acknowledgement they can't get the numbers up if they have to find, arrest, detain, and fly all of these people home. So they have to push for self-deportation, said one of the sources familiar with the discussion. As for comment, DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said in a statement, deportations have already exceeded 117,000 in just the first 70 days. It's just the beginning. We're unleashing DHS law enforcement that has had its hands tied behind its back for 4 years under former President Joe Biden and former Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. These deportations don't even include the number of illegal aliens who have self-deported. Illegal aliens are hearing Secretary Noem's message loud and clear. Leave now or face the consequences. That includes a fine of $998 per day for every day that the illegal alien overstayed their final deportation order, arrest, detainment, and deportation. So
it's like a realtor number, 998. Can we just say 1,000? And make it easy. Why
not up at a couple of bucks?
My house is for sale for $499,990.
Right. All right, it's 8:40 on News Talk 107.9. We'll be back. It's 8:46 now on News Talk 107.9. Both Julie and I have step one laid down, the humates on our lawns from Town and Country Gardens. And I'm thinking I may text Rex and say, can I throw down step two pretty soon? I know we're supposed to wait until June, July. Or is it May, June? I think it's May, June. It's May, June. And but I'm just eager. My lawn looks great. It's very green. It's come up really strong. I just want to get it done.
It's time to mow.
It is.
Do this thing. I'm sure he's going to say it's fine because it is a friendly program that way. If you're sitting here listening to Neal and you're like, well, I don't even have step one down. I've missed my window. No, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't. This is a super friendly lawn program. Make sure you get on down there to Town and Country. You can get it on this weekend. Even next weekend, you can get it on.
Yeah. What?
With the humates.
Oh, get it on. Yeah. Yeah. I think we have Marvin Gaye here.
There probably is. Yeah, so the Tinder version of the 4-step lawn program is your first step, and that's the humates. You need to get that down probably within the next few weeks. But like I said, it's a pretty forgiving program, so let's get on it and make it happen for yourself.
And this is not an excuse for delay, but we have told our listeners in previous years, you can put your humates on anytime. It's going to be beneficial to your lawn. It's not a fertilizer. So I don't know that you could put too many humates on. I don't think that's even a thing. But you put the right amount down is just perfect, and you can put those down anytime. So you are not too late.
Right. So get on down to Town and Country. They've got all your your seeds for your planting. That's coming up, and make sure you get them now. There's also trees that need planted now. And they have experts there that can help you know exactly how do I put this tree in? How deep do I do it?
Yeah.
Which way do I stake it? Like that kind of stuff. And there are some trees, he taught us this last year, that you, their roots are bare when you buy them, and that actually is good for this area. The trees seem to take a little bit better. So another great thing that you can go and have the experts teach you about at Town and Country Gardens.
I also, really quick, I know we put a lot into this right here, but mark your calendars for Saturday, April 26th from 6 to 10 p.m. It's called Illuminate the Night at Town and Country Gardens. They are doing a reveal of the Firefly Petunia, which is a petunia that glows in the dark.
Kind of cool. It's all there at mygardengeek.com.
I've told people about this. Their jaw drops. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like some geneticist, botanist guy, he found a way to take the bioluminescence from algae and whatever and combine that with the genetics of the petunia. And they have a glow in the dark petunia. So go to mygardengeek.com if you want to find out more. But it's going to be a big deal. Food, music, glow in the dark petunias. It's all going to be there.
Yeah, April 26th.
Yeah.
The evening of April 26th. So go on to mygardengeek.com, learn all about that, and then you can visit Town and Country. They're south of Idaho Falls off the Yellowstone Highway across from the malting plant.
All right, Julie, what did you think? I'm going to ask you. I mentioned this yesterday, and I was very diplomatic when I said it, but I could sense that there was probably going to be a bit of a backlash. Jeff Bezos sent up, I think, was it 5 women or 6? 5. Katy Perry, Gayle King, some others. They went up, and they were down within a few minutes. Like, this didn't take very long at all.
I think 11 minutes they were in space.
Yeah, so they launched them up above the line that defines what space is, and then they came back down. And people are like, okay, this was a stunt. These women, even though they went above that line, they can't really be called astronauts, because if you're truly an astronaut, you know how to fly a space shuttle and you know how to be in a moon capsule or whatever. This took no more skill than being a passenger on a bus.
Yeah.
Okay, and so they're not astronauts.
It was a super hooty theme park ride, is what it was. Yeah. Cool for them. Awesome, but don't try to present like you're something that you're not.
Well, and this was not a technological milestone. This was maybe a demographic milestone. But I don't know if it's one that actually helps women, because it ended up being a subject of mockery on social media.
Which is the unfortunate part. But they kind of fertilized it to be that way.
They did.
Which is Katy Perry gets off, talks about how she felt so much love. She kissed the ground. They were doing this.
Something about her feminine energy or something.
And celebratory walk. And it was just really over the top. Really over the top.
Did they have to pay for it, or did Bezos just like, you know what, these are some rich people, I'll send them up?
You know, I don't know the answer to that. I guess I just automatically assumed that Bezos paid for all of it, but I guess they could have thrown some in. Gayle King is rich. Katy Perry is rich. These are wealthy women.
Yeah, I
guess they could have.
So, okay. Anyway, I didn't want to, like I said, yesterday without you here, I was very diplomatic.
Earlier, I said for you not to mock the mission because they spent hours finding the correct lip gloss to wear.
Okay, see, I can't even participate in that joke. I can't even react to that joke. at all.
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Look, their makeup was 5
spot
stars.
on.
Yeah.
Right. It's 8:52. We'll be back. We'll wrap up this hour just ahead.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, it's Brad from Now 105.1 and QP99. I'm in the studio here. I love our studios, by the way. Ranger Rick back there. There's Neal and Julie doing their thing. Hey, when you want to advertise on the radio, what do? You call the radio station, right? But what do you do when you want to advertise on Facebook and Instagram and Hulu and Disney Plus and Peacock and the other TV streaming services? You can kind of click around on them and make guesses or read books or take courses online on how to do that advertising. Or you could call us at the radio station. At Sandhill Media, we take care of your local radio and digital marketing. So reach out to us at sandhillmediagroup.com and we'll make sure that your message gets heard and seen wherever your customers are.
It's 8:57 on News Talk 1079. Neal Larson along with Julie Mason. So, Julie, this was crazy. The would-be Trump assassin that showed up at the golf course in Florida. Apparently, he may have ties to Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is from, let's see, this is an interview between Michael Flynn, General Flynn, and a podcaster. Listen to part of it. Well, we have less than a minute. Let me just play a little bit of it, though.
Clearly, this guy had connections. Ryan Ralph had connections to Ukraine. He'd been to Ukraine. He's been recruiting fighters. He knows the generals there. He knows the war fighters there. He had a no-look visa policy to bring in terrorists to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine. He's a Ukraine fanatic. And now he's going to Ukraine to get American-made munitions to kill Trump and someone new in Ukraine. I think this obviously is why President Trump treated Zelensky the way that he did in the Oval Office. Yeah. But what should happen to Ukraine if it's found that they were at the very least complicit?
Okay, Julie, your hot take, 10 seconds.
My hot take is why would we even be shocked that Ukraine was complicit in this? You and I have both said the leadership of Ukraine is operating like bad guys.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, we'll have more on this in the next hour. It's 8:59 on News Talk 1079. 9:07 on News Talk 1079. So if Katy Perry is now an astronaut, then I've been an airline pilot many times, as has Julie. And also, I would say I'm a mariner because I've been on a couple of cruises.
Sure.
Like what do you call people who go on boats and cross oceans?
A seaman? I don't know.
Columbus? Yeah, I don't know.
Explorer?
I think it's mariner. Probably.
I have watched Dora, so
Yeah.
I think then I could be called an explorer.
I think you could. Yes, Dora. We'll call you Dora from now on. Welcome back. It's hour 2, 208-542-1079. That is the Stones Automotive Group call and text line, and we'd love to hear from you this hour if you'd like to comment on AOC and Bert. We actually had a listener, Julie, that is, we'll just say they're an antagonist of the show. Mm-hmm. And they troll us on text. And I would say we're successful about 80% of the time not taking them up on their trolling.
Yes.
And
maybe a little bit more than that.
Maybe a little more, maybe 90%. Yeah, we don't respond to this one too much.
Yeah.
I will. So this person said, Bernie and AOC were amazing last night in Nampa. I love listening to those two. This is also the same listener that 2 weeks earlier, on the eve of the special elections in Florida, wrote, "Today is the day that the Democrats take the House back and Hakeem Jeffries becomes our savior. Trump's reign of terror is ending soon." Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the level we're dealing with here.
Should I send him back a message to say, hey, that didn't happen, by the way?
Oh, no, I have more. Wait, there's more. This person also wrote, Kamala 2024, back on November 5th.
Real good. They're not Nate Silver.
Oh, wait, there's more. If we go back to November 1st, this trolling texter also wrote, It looks like Kamala will win by 60-40, and Democrats will take the House and keep the Senate now.
It was a trifecta of losing.
Yes. That's a threefer. Like that, they packed a lot of failure into that one text. October 23rd, Harris is going to win in a landslide! ! I know a lot of Republicans who are secretly voting for her this year. Trump has destroyed the Republican Party. Another exclamation mark. The day before
I'm not taking stock advice from this dude.
Okay, you're right. But there's more. This is like a treasure trove. The day before that, October 22nd, you guys are so clueless today. Harris will win the popular vote with over 10 million votes. It will come down to Nevada, Wisconsin, and possibly Pennsylvania. Electoral votes this time. Didn't Trump win all three of those?
Yeah, Trump won all the swing states.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris did not win the popular vote by 10 million votes.
No, well, she lost.
Yeah.
It wasn't just by a certain amount. She's flat out lost.
Yes. Okay, so in that context, they also said Walz is going to destroy Vance tonight in the vice presidential debate. September 25th. Okay, this is just too fun and too easy. On September 25th, I think Trump has now lost Ohio due to his cat and dog comments. Remember? Yes. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. It looks like Kamala has a clear path to victory now.
Do you know that eating the cats and eating the dogs actually won Trump young kid votes?
Good.
It became so popular on TikTok that it actually helped him.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
But this is a person who's unwilling to put emotion aside and look at how people consume their media.
Yeah.
That they can actually think outside of a talking head telling them what to do. Mm-hmm. This person clearly cannot. He's got somebody he listens to and then he just repeats.
Yeah, well, to put all that, and I didn't plan on talking about eating the cats and eating the dogs today, but to put all of that in context, when all of that went down, I mean, here's a party that can't figure out what gender is and pronouns. It isn't that far-fetched to think that they were eating the cats and the dogs. Mm-hmm. There are some third world countries where that does happen.
Oh, it happens here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's why it's not far-fetched.
Yeah, no, it's not far-fetched. But you were saying about how Trump won some younger votes because that went so viral.
Yeah.
If I were his consultant, for a smidgen of a minute, I may have considered having him eat a Tide Pod. And maybe, but I wouldn't. It would just cross my mind.
Filled with blueberry jelly instead of...
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
A special made one.
Yes, right. All right, let's go to the phones. 208-542-1079. Caller, how are you today?
I am fantastic. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Julie. How's the grandbaby?
Oh, so good. Both boys were just so cute. It was
Isn't grandparent time so much more fun than just being a parent?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I took him outside. We played football, made touchdown dances together, and then his parents had to figure out how to get him to eat dinner. It was great.
I've got a suggestion for you. When they come visit your house, you should have what I have on my counter. I have a cookie jar and I have a candy jar. And on both those jars is written, Grandpa says yes.
There we go.
Perfect.
I told you I'd try and keep Neal in check while you were gone. Well, he was fantastic. He stuck to the script. He stayed on task. He was great while you were gone. So that's why he's maybe going a little overboard today, just to try and make up for not being able to get anything out there.
It was all pent up energy that he's got to get out.
And Neal, I know you were born in Aberdeen or raised in Aberdeen. I know they taught you if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. We can't keep beating up an unarmed person. The person obviously has no mental acuity that they predicted all of those things wrong, so you got to be nice.
Do we?
Yes. I don't know.
We don't have to be. I figured I'll add to the sarcasm here.
I will throw down a boundary. That's a good rule for you.
Hey, Nostradamus even got one once in a while, right?
That's true.
That guy got everything wrong. So, no, and I'm glad they did. You guys have a fantastic day. Enjoy the beautiful sunny weather we're having, and have a happy Easter, guys.
Yeah, thank you. You as well. Thank you. 208-542-1079.
Yeah. Here's my deal about being nice to the person that he called unarmed. You came to the fight.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no coercion. We didn't come to your arena. You came to our arena.
If I make a claim publicly, then I expect to be okay with that claim getting scrutinized down the road.
Yeah.
So I would assume they're the same way. And when you send us a text, we have a deep archive of every text that people send to us.
This is my same fight that I have with those who run for office and become elected, which is you came to the arena. Don't whine about what happens once you're in the arena.
Yeah.
There was no hidden idea of what political service was going to be like. It's going to have some really great parts to it. It's going to have some negatives.
Yeah.
Don't come and whine about what you didn't. I don't like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You ran.
Right. That's true.
Nobody made you do this.
Right. It just came with the job.
Yeah.
Like if you take a job as a dishwasher. I don't like dish soap.
I don't like that my hands get pruned.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, why did you take it then?
Right.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, we could add so much to that. So here's a great question, Julie. If Bezos had set up a bunch of rich men and they came back and said they were astronauts, what do you think the chatter would be about? Is there a double standard here? Because they sent up William Shatner a while back, and I remember watching. I don't remember exactly how I responded to that. I didn't think that part of it was William Shatner was Captain Kirk. Like he was Captain Kirk of Star Trek, so it kind of made sense in that regard. But I never viewed Captain Kirk, or I never viewed William Shatner as an astronaut because he went up in space. There was also an element, I think he was 91 or 2 when he went up. So
is he that old?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
He looks great for his age. But yeah, he's in his 90s now. And so I think the age was an issue as well. That, there's some risk because you're applying some G-forces and maybe there's some pressure changes. I'm not really sure, but it does take a bit of a toll on your body to go up that high and then go into zero gravity. There's a stress response to that. So I think the age was an issue there. So we're kind of comparing apples to oranges. I think I would probably view this pretty much the same way, that I wouldn't consider a bunch of rich dudes that rode up for 11 minutes into a craft above the line, the Kramer line, is that what they call it? And then came back down. I would not call them astronauts either.
I wouldn't for the men either. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure what the reaction would have been. You started that by asking what would it have been. I think it probably would have been a divided reaction. I think there would have been feminists who lost their mind. How dare you send men again, and don't call them astronauts. But I also think there might be a portion there that they won't get ridiculed as much. Yeah. They'll be given just a little bit more respect than a bunch of women going up. Now, with that being said, these women didn't really lay the groundwork to deserve respect. They kind of made a mockery of it all on their own. Mm-hmm. And so, again, this actually goes in with the phone call. The texter entered the arena. You have to face the bullets that come in the arena.
Yeah, right.
The politician entered the arena. You ran for office. You have to face it. That's what happens. You go up in a spacecraft. You behave kind of like these women did. You fertilized some ground for people to make fun of you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it's the nice thing to do, but to pretend like you don't think that's going to happen, you're just not living in reality.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It is going to be a different reaction. I also don't think there would be that big a deal made of it because men going to space is not breaking
Seems
a barrier.
very common.
Yeah, it's such a common thing.
Mm-hmm.
The overwhelming gender in astronaut, the roster of astronauts we've sent up has been men. So I think we're comparing apples to oranges here, and I don't know that it's a good comparison. I think that if I saw that headline that Jeff Bezos sent 5 rich men into space, I think I'd go on to the next story. I don't think I'd even care to know the details of it because this kind of thing is now happening all the time. I feel like for me, the technological hurdles for the space shuttle to go up, to be in orbit, and to sustain 6 or 7 or 8 astronauts for weeks and weeks on end, even days on end, is a much bigger accomplishment, gender aside, or the technological hurdles to get people to the moon is far, far higher and much more complex and more expensive than launching a rocket with a capsule in it 67 miles up and then letting it parachute down. Okay, there's just far fewer considerations to be able to do that. So I feel like they're cherry picking a title here that they don't really deserve, that others have earned before having to go through immense training and all of the engineering that was required to be able to make the space shuttles happen and the International Space Station and the Apollo missions and all of that. So I feel like they're trying to get a cheap ticket to an elite club.
I absolutely agree with you on that. And this happens in other areas, right? Somebody who does something really amazing in life, and then all of a sudden they're awarded a doctorate degree.
Yes.
From a university, and you're like, they didn't do anything to get a doctorate degree.
Yeah.
They're really good at bowling.
Yes.
Don't deserve a doctorate degree, right? So I think that you're absolutely correct with that. I also think this could have been framed a little bit differently. I think that this could have been a really cool and chic and inviting concept if they were launching, pardon the pun, launching a new program where twice a year they're going to put this rocket up and you can bid on a ticket and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that could have been really cool with these women.
Add a little Willy Wonka to it.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think that they would have been mocked like they were.
Yeah.
But it was almost as if they were cosplaying.
So, okay, we may be operating on a completely false premise here because I haven't done a comprehensive search of news stories about this. I've just seen the social media reaction. Are they really calling them astronauts? Like, is that as though they are, like, I love your analogy here. This is receiving the honorary doctorate of becoming an astronaut. You didn't actually earn it. You're just, you're there.
You're a great singer. You're Katy Perry and you can sing on stage.
Yes.
And you're an American Idol host. Awesome for you. And that's amazing.
Yeah.
You're not an astronaut.
Yeah. But as the media, are they claiming now that Katy Perry and Gayle King and the others are now astronauts?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's been more a title that was bestowed on them through social media.
Yeah.
But that is the new media.
It is the new media.
Yeah. And you have to be aware that that's going to happen.
Does Katy, well, here's the most important. This is the question that can't be questioned. Does Katy Perry and Gayle King now identify as astronauts?
On Tuesdays, yes.
Because if they do, you cannot question it.
It's fluid. On Tuesdays, yes, they do. But it's different on Thursdays.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's astronomically fluid right now. Whatever that means. I don't know. All right, 923-208-542-1079. If you'd like to join us on the program this morning, we're going to take our first break here. We'll come back, though, after this. Yeah, William Shatner is 94 years old.
That is crazy.
Yeah, just turned 94.
Shoot. I can't do that link anymore because I did a new one. But because I understand copy and paste, I can make this work.
Control-C, Control-V. It's beautiful. Okay, all right, we're going to have Steve on from Idaho Falls. Let's do our extra tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. My grandson's touchdown dance that I referenced, they call it spicy feet, which is running really fast. And but then he goes in circles when it's the touchdown dance.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Spicy feet, he runs around in circles.
That's great.
And then spikes the ball. I also read Cat in the Hat to him, 5 times maybe. And my youngest is 25 years old. So I haven't read Cat in the Hat for probably 22 years or so. I still have that stinking book memorized.
Really?
There were parts I didn't even need to read.
Oh, wow.
The brain's powerful.
Yeah, it really is. Also, you know what's fascinating about this, about our brains and recording memories? If you are in certain mental states when things happen, you're more likely to remember.
Oh, yeah.
Like it, and you were bonding with your kid, you're having that really important one-on-one time, which is super important to you. You're more likely to encode a memory that will be more recallable and more vivid down the road. So that's why you can recall it like it was yesterday. One trick, and this is the context I learned it in. It said if you're studying for a big test, if you will like chew gum or eat some mints or some chocolate, and then when you go to take the test, eat the same thing, mints, chocolate, gum, that will light up that part of your brain. Like it will actually help recall those memories that you've encoded while you were eating it before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday I listened. Oh, okay.
Sorry. All right, 9:28 on News Talk 1079, Neal Larson, along with Julie Mason, and we're going to go right to the phones. Steve is in Idaho Falls. Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. Hanging in there.
Well, good. I just need some clarification on the folks that went up on that rocket. How are they spelling astronaut? Is that with 2 S's or 1?
It's optional. It's fluid. Right. You can do it either way.
Now both you and Julie have engaged in jokes that I can't react to.
Well, I mean, if it's with 2, I'd have to agree. If it's with 1, I think it's unearned.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Thank you for the call. That was. He waited a long time to make that joke.
He did, but it was a good joke.
Yeah,
so he did great.
It was good. Yeah. Why don't we just call them space tourists? That would be the best term for them. Is just don't try to make the case they're astronauts. They're just space tourists. They got all they had to do was sit. It's like going to Lagoon, riding on the rocket at Lagoon, or Wicked, or Cannibal. That's all they had to do was show up and strap in and wait.
Even if you don't like the word tourist, because you feel like that diminishes the fact that there will only be a handful of people that do this in the next decade.
Okay.
What if you did like space investigator? Or there's lots of other words you could use.
Sure. But you know what I think is going to happen? And it may not, it'll probably take a decade or so. But I bet the price of this as they scale will come down. And right now I think it's a couple $100,000 if you want to go up and cross that line and come back down. But over time, as they get better at this, it might cost $5,000 or $10,000 to be able to do it. That's going to bring it into a price range that a lot more people can show up. Maybe go through a little bit of training, but I'm not sure what training you need because you're just sitting there. You may have to pass some kind of a physical test of some kind, and then you'll be able to do it. What title are we going to give those people when they start to do this en masse?
I don't.
Probably tourists.
Tourists would be probably the right word then, because it becomes more common.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's in my mind. That's what it is.
Look, if you're in the Greek Isles and you rent a massive yacht, and you spend 10 days going along the coast, and you have a full staff, 7 people on the yacht, taking care of everything, you're still a tourist.
You're a tourist, yeah. That's and that's the only. It's not even earning a title. That's just what you are.
That's what you are.
Yeah. So Yeah. I think they're just the first ones.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about Katy. I did see, you know what? I saw a weird conspiracy theory. Tell me if you've heard this before. Involving Katy Perry. That she's actually John Benet Ramsey.
Oh, I haven't seen that. A lot of people think she's a lizard, like she's a lizard person.
Oh, that's a totally different
Yeah,
conspiracy
I thought that's
theory.
where you were going to go. I have not heard the John Benet Ramsey.
No, it's like I said, it's a very obscure conspiracy theory. But I don't know. You hadn't heard of that.
Oh, I hadn't heard it. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, let's look that up.
Okay.
And then we'll come back after this.
Okay.
All right. Weird show today, but that's okay. We'll be right back. It's 9:32 on News Talk 107.9. Okay. You finding anything?
Oh, somebody sent us a link or a screenshot. It says Blue Origin declared them astronauts.
Oh, okay.
So that's who's giving them the title.
I don't think so.
Well, look, people who work at Subway also are called sandwich artists, and I'm not sure they can make a good sandwich at home. So,
Yeah, right, yeah. Let's see. Katy Perry was born 1984. John Benet Ramsey was born in 1990. So there's about a 6-year span there. I mean, you could probably fake it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not John.
She's not
the same.
John Benet
But
Ramsey.
the ones I saw, it showed like skin marks that are identical in the
Similar,
same spots. And so, what do you think of the John Benet Ramsey case? Have you ever covered that on your true crime?
I've never covered it fully because I do current crime.
Yeah.
Unless there was a massive update, that's when I would cover it. Oh my gosh, we have to talk about the story that I wrote last night.
Okay.
Because it has that political angle to it.
Okay.
We'll do it in the post show.
Okay.
So I've never really covered her. I do believe there's something shady to the whole thing. I do not think that just some random guy walked into that house, possibly broke through the basement window, did what he did, and walked out, and it was just over.
Yeah.
It is very, 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 very rarely is it just a random person who commits a crime. There's usually some sort of connection. So, and randomness does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Look at serial killers. Randomness happens.
Yeah.
But a lot of very unique situations like Jean Benet Ramsey, it's usually someone connected to the person that does it.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how this would be the outlier. Why she would be so lucky to have, or unlucky in this case.
Yeah.
It would be like winning the lottery to have a random person be able to know that house well enough and go inside.
Right. Yeah.
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 So I'm not really sure who it is.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance that maybe they were involved in some questionable activities with friends, and a friend would know how to come into the house.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. So you think it's somebody like a business associate or...
Sure, just anyone
whatever.
connected.
Yeah.
Anyone connected to the family that would have enough knowledge to want to commit the crime specific to this little girl.
I watched that documentary a while back. Well, on Netflix, I think. And it completely changed because I always thought, okay, Pat and what's the dad's name? John?
John.
That the ransom note and the hand, like all of that just seemed really weird. But when you watch the documentary, you're like, okay. And I don't even remember the details of it, but it explained a lot of that and how the media was so eager to have a narrative around this. Mm-hmm. They immediately jumped and pointed fingers at the family and framed it. They left really key critical details out of it. And what I remember from that documentary was more discussed with the media and how the media operates, and more than anything.
We've got a case going on just like this down in Texas. The young man who went into the track meet stabbed the other young man and killed him. You would not believe the amount of dishonest information that's being reported. It is incredible.
Yeah. 9:37 on News Talk 107.9. So I did a quick Google search Turns out the rabbit hole's not that deep. John Benet Ramsey is not Katy Perry.
It was like a little divot in the grass. It wasn't a rabbit hole.
Pretty much
Just
all it was. I mean, they were born years apart. Both of their childhoods are very well documented.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's not.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Are you going to go buy ivermectin now that it's available over the counter?
Sure. Yeah, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to have it. I don't have any current need for it, but I think it's probably good to have some, because it's got a lot of different uses, right?
Yeah, I know people who have tried to make it part of their weekly regimen.
Yeah,
like they will take ivermectin every, say, Saturday
okay.
or
So
whatever.
Like there's just an ongoing
like
therapeutic
a supplement. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I do that with aspirin. Like take a low dose aspirin every day. So some people just will do a dose
like a
of
once
ivermectin.
a week. Uh-huh.
You?
I think so, but I need to really figure it out first, because there's no reason to bring it into your lifestyle unless you understand what it's going to help with and not. So I probably need to do more research, but I could see myself doing it.
Yes. Okay, so here's a question that I have to ask myself, because I'm always trying to calibrate for my own perception. And there's a lot of interesting things about human nature where because Anthony Fauci hated ivermectin, I think I might like ivermectin even more.
Yes, just that human part of you.
So
yeah.
am I overestimating what ivermectin can do because of my disgust for Anthony Fauci? Like I want to make sure that ivermectin just is what it is. And if it is beneficial, then yeah, I'll use it. It has very few side effects, if any.
Yeah.
Most people don't have any side effects, very well tolerated. And it seems to be an abundance of evidence that it can be beneficial. But I don't want to overhype it. I don't want to overextend myself on it.
Do we start a website, a black market website, and you and I buy ivermectin and sell it to people in Utah? Because they can't get it?
Maybe we should. We could. Here's the thing. Here's what we'll do. We'll set up a little roadside stand.
All right.
I'll be in southbound I-15.
Yep.
And you'll be in northbound I-15. And
that way they don't have to go all the way to Malad.
Yes, right. Exactly. They can come up. We will sell ivermectin at the border. Because now you can do OTC. That's what.
There we go.
That's what we'll.
It'll be our little side business.
Like we just a couple weekends ago, we did a trip down into Navajo country and drove through down to the Grand Canyon. The Navajos, they set up those roadside tables, and we stopped.
They sell jewelry.
Bought a little jewelry, and for our daughters and stuff. It could be we'd be like that, but we'd be the vendors of ivermectin.
There we go. Ivermectin are us.
Yes. And we would do it until state troopers stopped and told us we had to leave because that wasn't going to be legal.
We'd make a few hundred, though, before.
I think we would.
It might be worth it.
Yeah, I think we could do that. Why not?
Why not?
Make a few bucks on ivermectin. And while we're at it, we'll have some contraband hydroxychloroquine too. Even though that's not available over the counter. And
then we'll do the Idaho Spud candy bars. Just because we're at the border.
It'll just be there.
We might as well. It's,
That's true. That's true. Now, while we're at it, because we'll be at the border, is there anything they sell in Utah that Idahoans would want?
Oh, we could step back and forth across the border.
Yeah, we could.
What is that? Well, they have medical marijuana in Utah, right?
That's true. You can get the good stuff at Tremont.
Okay.
I don't know. No, that just sounded good
You
for a
said that
second.
with far too much confidence.
I just was like, no, that sounds a little mysterious, but it sounded stupid once I finally said it.
Right there at the Arby's.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. All right.
We're going to get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. All right, 9:42 on News Talk 107.9. If you'd like to join us on the Stones Automotive Group, call and text line. We'd love to hear from you today. So, the governor, is he going to sign that SNAP bill taking the soda and the candy off?
Somebody sent us a message saying it already happened this morning.
Oh, did he already sign it? Okay.
I don't know if that is true.
Hold on. Let's see here. Which bill was that? 109. 109. So let's see what 109 is. Holy cow, they passed a lot of bills.
Yeah, they did. I'm not seeing anything news-wise yet, but
yeah,
it does take a minute for it to get up. So
there's
you're not
Senate Bill
seeing it
11
on there?
that. I'm not, but this might not be the right day for the daily track. Oh, hold on. Let me just change the date and see if we got some. Yeah, I can't find it. If the person who told us that would send us a link, we would appreciate it.
Okay.
So
that'd be a great idea.
Yeah. So that's Brian Ullman was speculating perhaps the governor was going to do a joint event with RFK Jr. in signing that, because that's been a thing he's wanted to do.
Pet project of his.
Yeah, because the N in SNAP is nutrition.
Yeah. So all the candy falls under that.
Yes. So, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's an acronym because they're all capitalized. What's the rest of it?
Supplemental nutrition
something program.
Yeah. SNAP. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, SNAP. I don't know what it is.
I don't think they say SNAP anymore.
Don't they?
No.
I do. I don't care. Holy fetch. I still.
Whatchamacallit.
Yeah. That's weak sauce that they've stopped saying so snap. They don't say weak sauce anymore.
They don't do that either.
Okay. I don't even know how that originated. Yeah, here's the thing about that SNAP thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would have voted for it, and if I were the governor, I would have signed it. But I don't know with what level of enthusiasm. Like I'm just, it's not a bill that seems all that sexy to me, and I don't know why. I'm not sure why. This is one where I feel like what does it accomplish?
Maybe don't do a victory lap. Sign it, but don't do a victory lap.
Yeah, I don't know, and I know that I feel like maybe it's more a symbolic victory than it is a real victory.
Right, possibly. Somebody sent us a screenshot of Brad Little's X account, and 25 minutes ago he said, the MAHA movement is about promoting nutrition and exercise so all kids can thrive. Today, I signed HB 109 to ban candy and soda from the government's food assistance program. Idaho's children deserve more than these sugary and synthetic-filled products. Thank you, Secretary Kennedy. And then it goes on.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to his X account, he has signed it.
What do you say, Julie, to the people who feel like this is a little bit cruel?
Oh, I don't think it's cruel. I don't think that's cruel at all. It's taxpayer dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be that money should be used to help those that are in the most dire of situations.
Yeah.
Okay. Candy doesn't solve dire situations.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with it. I would also say the SNAP program is there as an assistance. It's in the name. That's the A, assistance, or extra.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean your kid won't be able to get candy or whatever. Just organize your life that you use your SNAP benefits at an appropriate level, and then you'll probably have a few extra bucks left. A couple of days a month, they can get candy.
If that's important to you, then yeah. Yeah.
It's weird to me that we eat candy every day now.
Yeah.
Like that's an expectation. Do you remember that candy used to be like the special thing that you would get?
Yeah, that's true. And like cookies, same thing.
And somehow you don't live a full life if you don't have candy every day?
Right.
That's weird.
It is weird. It is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's also like a life hack. If this bothers you, just go to the bank every day. Reach in, grab all the dum-dums and stuff them in your pocket and walk out. There's my supplemental nutrition right there. I'm trying to think. Where else do they give out free candy?
Dentist's office will give out like little mints or whatever. I don't know. Where you could eat at Olive Garden every night and get a free chocolate at the end.
We have enough money to eat at Olive Garden. Just go buy your. That's funny. right. 208-542-1079 is the number. Yeah, and by the way, Julie, you put the title up that it's tax day. It is tax day.
It is.
I'm
not done. Are you done?
No, I did. I filed an extension last night. So, nope. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to make it. So I'm just going to do the extension and worry about it a little bit later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know, you look for reasons to reduce stress in your life. Filing an extension is a great stress reducer.
It's the snooze button of the IRS.
Right, that's true. It's the IRS's snooze button. That's a great way to characterize it.
It's the only time I hit snooze.
Push it down the road. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It would be interesting to know from our audience if their taxes are done.
Yeah. Send it in via text. Let us know.
Just text right now, yes or no. Are your taxes done? And we are now about 14 hours and 11 minutes away from the deadline. Yeah. So tell us if you are done with your taxes.
I hope people are. Just mark it off the list and be done. Because now that's still hanging over our heads. We do have an extension, but it's still hanging over our heads.
Yeah. Speaking of I've seen conspiracy theories. I don't quite fully understand it because it's a little complex. That Trump is implementing these tariffs to change something about the money supply and the interest rates so that we can refinance our debt and actually dramatically reduce our debt moving forward. That it's actually a 4D chess move by Donald Trump to address our debt, not just, make our trade imbalance a little more fair.
So I was watching Fox and Friends this morning as I was getting ready for work, and there is a special Trump interview that's happening this afternoon, and they were playing little excerpts from it, just promoting it. And that question actually comes up in the interview, and she asks him the question in Spanish, and he says, "No one has asked me that question, which is, will my taxes go down if the tariffs work?" And he answers it along the lines of, absolutely, that's going to be the biggest benefit that people aren't understanding is that your taxes will go down because we're going to have so much more money in the federal government based upon tariffs, based upon DOGE, all of those things will help your taxes go down.
So it'll get less expensive to do government and we'll have more jobs here.
Yes.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. All right. What are we getting back?
Tons of texts. So many.
Yes.
People put it in the mail this morning. Do people still mail their taxes? I file mine electronically and have for years.
I have not mailed taxes in 20 plus years. Someone said taxes? We have to pay taxes? I'm still trying to get 2023 done. That's what someone said. Yeah. Oh, wow. I can't believe how many people texted in.
So many. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's read this one. My dad is an accountant in Rexburg. My taxes have been done for a couple of months. Well, lucky you. I wish I had a dad who was an accountant.
Why did that text have a neener feel to it? My dad's an accountant in Rexburg. I got my tax on there.
It's probably a really nice person, and we're giving them a bad time.
I'm just teasing. All right, it's 9:52 on News Talk 107.9. We'll be back. Final segment coming up.
This person's been filing an extension for 20 plus years. We're fine. We're fine.
We're all good.
We're fine.
We're good. Everything's good. Yeah. I'm go sip a margarita. I did my taxes well over a year ago. Okay, that's funny.
Somebody said, taxes? We have to pay taxes? Oh, crap.
Yeah. Thanks for the laugh. Sorry to rub it in. Good, they took it in. They took it in stride. Yeah.
Good. Oh, somebody called us slackers. Yes, you're correct. Thank you. You get a prize. You got it right. Oh, this person filed 4 extensions, not just one. There must be 4 different businesses.
You know what? We don't have time for the flash poll, but I got to move a spot. I got a little problem. No, I don't. Let's do Town and Country when we come back. Our second one.
Okay.
And this can be quick because we did it.
Oh, this person's a CPA and they filed their own taxes. If you're a CPA and you file your own taxes, how much do you cheat? Be honest with me. It's just us in the text line.
No, it isn't. It's Facebook Live. Okay. 9:54 on News Talk 1079, and the Stones Automotive Group call and text line is 208-542-1079. It's also the I cheated on my taxes line if you wanted to call in and make an admission. Not really.
Not
okay,
really.
we don't want to get involved with that at all. But we do want to tell you how to get a beautiful, lush green lawn all spring, summer, and fall. And that's with Town and Country Gardens. Their 4-step lawn program is the way to go. Stop it with the watching of the YouTube videos and hoping it's right and trying to figure it out. We're simplifying it for you. Town and Country Gardens is simplifying it for you.
This is just your gentle reminder, so make sure you get down there, buy the 4-step lawn program, set a reminder in your phone, and your lawn will thank you. So will the people in your house, because they'll be like, "Oh, Dad, our yard looks so good," or "Oh, honey, thanks for doing the yard," because it's going to look amazing.
Yeah, it really is, and it's super simple. It's affordable, too, especially if you compare it to a lawn service. We've calculated the average size lawn. Now, if it's a lot bigger, it's going to be more than this. If it's much smaller, it's going to be less. But it's probably $150 to $200 for the average size lawn for this, which is a really, really good way to simplify this process.
Right. Town and Country Gardens, south of Idaho Falls, on Yellowstone Highway, across from the malting plant. Tell them we sent you.
Yes. Walk in and yell it.
Say, Neal and Julie said find the 4-step lawn program.
Yes, that's true. You may get a restraining order, just so you know. I would say most of our listeners, Julie, have done their taxes.
Yeah, a lot of them have.
But you know what? There's a built-in bias here, because if you've done your taxes, you want to brag about it.
That's true.
It's like, running Ragnar or something, like you're like, do I do CrossFit? Yes.
26.2.
I do CrossFit and I've done my taxes.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Look, I'm not done with my taxes and I don't do CrossFit. So I'm bragging about that. Just kidding. Anyway.
I was going to say, and I can still walk, because you look at those people who do CrossFit and they don't always. You're like, why are you limping so bad? Oh, I did CrossFit this morning. Okay.
It's doing amazing things for me.
Did you sleep okay last night? No, I heard everywhere.
No,
but I did CrossFit.
I do CrossFit. I can't sleep at all.
Why are you wearing a shoulder harness? I did CrossFit.
Why are you walking? Well, I blew a disc. How'd you do that? Doing CrossFit.
Why do you have K-tape all over you? Because I do CrossFit.
We're going to get so much hate for this. That's okay. We love everybody, right? We're just playing. It's all good.
It's good.
So, last minute here, Julie, do we have Senator Crapo tomorrow?
We should. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes.
I wonder if he does CrossFit. He might.
He might.
In Congress, you got to have, so much frustration. You got to work off some of that extra energy. So, yeah. Okay, so we might have Senator Crapo.
Might have Senator. I'll double check today, but yes, it was on the schedule.
Okay. And we found out the governor did sign the SNAP thing. So no more. When does that take effect? Is that immediately?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll find out, but we'll see. Now,
it was a productive session.
I'm assuming, because if you make a change to a big federal program like that, you kind of need to get permission, and I'm guessing they'll get it because this RFK Jr. is all in favor of it. So, All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. By the way, we love CrossFit. We think it's great. So
look. Part of the humor is that I don't do it, and I look at you people and say I can't do it.
I know.
So
we're impressed by it.
Yeah, that's just part of it.
We'll see y'all tomorrow right here on News Talk 1079.